All right, here we go. You tune into the Diana and the Michael show. Everything and nothing at the same time. I'm Michael.
And I'm Diana.
All right. So today's topic: the fate of a childhood star. All right. So basically, you have all these different patterns of celebrity kids, childhood stars, and everything like that, and what they turn into, and the percentage that make it out okay that are not on drugs. It's low, man. Most of them really have a destructive end. So what is it?
Well,
If
who's actually made it out okay then?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't even Google as far as the success stories, but I know it's pretty slim. It's slim pickings. The ones that come out okay at the end of that tunnel.
Justin Timberlake did okay, I guess.
Who?
Justin Timberlake?
Yeah. I was thinking about that before. Justin did okay, I haven't heard anything bad from him. But there's a lot of them, even from that same Disney category. A lot of them just had
Yeah.
nervous breakdowns. Man, just drugs is a definite factor in a lot of those. Dude, man, but we could just start going down the line, like whether it be, I don't know if you remember the dude from Different Strokes, Gary Coleman, and his whole situation when he got the money and him and his parents kind of fell out.
I'm not really sure.
That's that dude's like, what you talk about, Willis? That dude. It's an older show. It's called Different Strokes, where the
Mm.
black kids stay with the white family, the white guy or whatever. So anyway, he was a little short dude. You know what I'm saying? And basically,
Did he die?
you know what? I'd have to look
Who am
into.
I thinking of then? I'm thinking of there's a black actor who who has that um who has that illness, doesn't A.
He doesn't age.
Yeah. Who am I talking? Is
Oh,
it
you
Gary
talking
Cole?
about? Oh, you talking about Emmanuel Lewis, that other guy? I think Webster. But maybe
Oh
we
yeah,
need to
no,
get a little
sorry.
more. Maybe we need to start googling this stuff as we're talking about it, so it seems a little bit more informed before we just start putting that stuff out there. But yeah, man, a lot of people be having that same fate. So if you had a kid and they came up to you talking about they want to act,
You want a model?
they want to act or they want to model, what would you do?
I mean, would you put your kid forward for like a model agency or a commercial ad?
Man, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, it might be beneficial as far as like money at the time. And I think a lot of times some of them come from, they might have poor backgrounds, and then they end up putting their kids in that limelight because it helps out their
Yeah.
whole situation.
Or they
But
kind of tell themselves, they're gonna be theirs, and no one's gonna take advantage of kids, but then they don't know any better because they've never had to deal with people in the industry like that.
yeah, and it's like, I guess growing up in front of the camera like that is not the same as growing up when you have your own privacy. Because even that, like, even growing up, like the teenage years, all these different things, when you're going through all these changes and things like that, I mean, it's hard on its own. But then when you're doing it in front of the public, it's kind of like you're able to pinpoint, put the magnifying glass on your situation, and then you got to react to it like that. So that might drive you crazy too. So I'm seeing with these people that kind of pressure. And Hollywood is crazy anyway. You have the adults on the same drugs that these kids are getting messed up with.
Yeah.
And so,
You have what Macaulay Culkin,
oh yeah, man.
Eric Kane Ashley,
Oh yeah, man.
Lindsay Lohan.
Oh
She
yeah.
was
The list keeps on going on and on and on. And you could, I mean, these are just stuff we're naming off the top of the head. There's some people, you just lose track of it because you just don't know what happened.
yeah.
You kind of get lost in the sauce, get lost in the mix. You don't even know what happened to them. But the ones that were really famous or whatever, those are the ones that stand out because that's the ones that they name. But yeah, is
The common factor is drugs,
is
but
it?
I guess drugs is something that they take to cope with, that fame, that having no childhood, having no real friends, missing out on having to, play out, go to school. I don't get it.
Yeah. Are you close to the microphone? Because I don't know, it sounds kind of distant. I don't know. Sometimes it's cutting in and out. I don't know if it's the speaker or what. But I want to make sure that your recording comes in good. But
How about now?
huh?
How about now?
Yeah, it's better. You must have been further away from it. I don't know if they're gonna be able to hear all the stuff you were saying before. But but yeah, that's the issue that we're talking about. The childhood stars. and the fate? And would you seeing that pattern? Is it just something where you think that, oh no, that happened to them, it won't happen to my kid or something, or it won't happen to me? And if your kid is just super talented, precocious, all that kind of stuff, like at a young age, just the cuteness factor, and you're like, oh man, you're a star already. And you might be naive to what Hollywood is like, and you
Yeah.
say, okay, well, I can't deny my kid from what they want to do, or this is what their talent is. So you push them forward without really knowing the whole deal. So I mean,
I think I think it's kids with talent that have something to do with show business. Because then you get kids who are like really intelligent, like IQ's really high. They're like math prodigies and stuff, and they don't get the recognition. But it's just the fact that if they can capitalize off you, like put you where they want you to go and mold you how they want you, then that's when you get exploited.
yeah. Though some of those people get recognition now too, though, with the internet and everything going viral. But
Yeah, they get recognition, but I don't think they're exposed to the same expectations or I don't know the same molding.
yeah, and
For
that.
example, Justin Bieber. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, man.
He was moldable. He still is moldable.
Yeah, he is. And maybe also it's kind of like you at that point in time, do you really know what life is about? And it's kind of like all that stuff is thrusted upon you, and you see all these other people that are older, and they're doing it. They're doing some of these destructive habits, and it might seem like they're having a good time, but
Yeah.
can you distinguish at that age the real from the fake? Can you or does anybody ever really figure out the real happiness or whatever like that? What is real joy, or is everybody just always chasing that kind of high? You know what I'm saying? Escapism, like they don't
Yeah.
want their reality is not cool, so they're always escaping into something else that is giving them the next thrill or adrenaline rush or whatever like that. So
And it's like when these kids grow up and they start to, date, they can't even do that in with privacy because they have the paparazzi all over them, and then obviously we all know about Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez, but it's kind of like he's missed out on that teenage relationship where it's it's a time where you kind of explore. Do you know what I mean? But he's always been thrust into the limelight.
yeah, and all that money too soon too. I mean, and that's the thing. I think people they say, "Oh shoot, if I had that fame or whatever like that." I think popularity is the issue too, because I think everybody goes through that phase where they want to be known or they want just that type of allure of being somewhat important. But then it's kind of like they find out later on that the fame is not what it's cracked up to be, and it can kind of like imprison you in a way.
Yeah.
So, but I think in the beginning they see it as something good, like, oh yeah, everybody knows me, and you get that type of attention. But then there is a point in time, as you can see, where that type of allure it wears off, and then the people they don't want to sign these autographs no more.
Yeah.
Like especially even these kids too, they used to be the ones all cheesing and smiling in front of the camera, just couldn't wait to get their picture taken, and then they turn into the total opposite, pushing the paparazzi out the way, cursing them, all this kind of stuff. So when does it change? There's a thin line between the love and the like of the paparazzi, the fame, all that stuff that comes with it, and then the
Yeah.
circle of people, your peers, that are around you in that same atmosphere of Hollywood. I mean, are you ready for that?
Do you know what? But I'm not sure because I'm sure there's celebrities out there who are able to avoid the paparazzi.
Yeah, I mean,
So there's some people who you just never really see in tabloids and newspapers.
but okay, so the ones that avoid it or whatever, do they avoid it by avoiding all outside situation in general? Like
Yeah,
how
I'm not
how are they
sure.
how are they avoiding it? Are they just not even going in the public at all?
Yeah, because like we were we were talking about Lauryn Hill. Yeah, we don't really see her in the tabloids as much. Well,
Right.
recently, yeah, but her personal life, like
Yeah.
her kids, we never usually see her. Is it because she doesn't leave the house? Is it because
Well,
she's like,
she's not. She's not doing the Hollywood thing though. She's on the East Coast, and she got her family. So, but
yeah,
the thing is, I don't want to get it too far off away from the Hollywood kids though. I don't want to go off the subject too much, even though it's still in the same ballpark. But you're talking about the fate of childhood stars. But I see what you're saying as far as see the adult. The thing is with an adult, you've had some life lessons already, so that kind of prepares you to deal with it more so than a kid. So if you're talking about Lauryn Hill, and there's always going to be exceptions to every rule. So Lauryn Hill, I don't think that she's the norm for a celebrity anyway. And so she's kind of been out of the limelight. Period. She hasn't had any like new albums for a while or whatever. So she's kind of just been doing her family thing, and she knows how to handle herself too. She's not outwardly seeking that. She was never really outwardly seeking that type of fame to begin with. She was kind of just
yeah,
doing her thing. She was a talent, so she was going to be in the spotlight while she was there for that particular time. But she wasn't out there seeking that type of celebrity. She wasn't really doing it. Whereas these other people, they were like trying to be that star.
yeah,
And then when they got, you know how they say, watch what you wish for, you just might get it. So those people who were seeking it, and that was their main goal, to be that famous type of person. And then when they got it, now they're trying to push it away because they can't go to the grocery store anymore. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
so you can't just turn it on and off. Now that you got it, what are you gonna do with it? And so maybe those drugs are a coping mechanism, because it's kind of like you can't even go to the beach like you want to. I mean, you gotta.
you can't date whoever you want to either.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Somebody might not even want to date you because of who you are, and they don't want to be public like that.
Yeah,
So it might even be slim pickings. Some people might think you're a catch, but other people, the ones that are genuine, might not even want to deal with you, just
yeah,
because.
all
Just
the fame that
because.
comes with you.
Yeah, all the fame that comes with you. So is that another reason why? I don't want to get off the subject. Like I said, is that another reason why the there's so many marriages in Hollywood? Because the spotlight, like, you ever, like I was trying to tell you before, and I know we're going all over the place, but relationships, they already have their own problems, right? But let's say you have a breakup or just a separation, and then you go tell one of your friends everything about this person, then it's like that friend is not going to want you to be with the one you broke up with or separated with, because the friend is like, you remember when you told me this person did this and this and this? Now imagine the world telling you, oh, that person did this to you and that to you.
Yeah,
It'll never work out. So if your friends will be the ones that, if you tell your friends certain things that happen in a relationship and that can be detrimental, imagine the whole world knowing about what's going on.
yeah.
And it's too much, man. But the childhood stars, though, basically, that's what we're getting into. Their transition from
Chris
childhood.
Brown.
Oh, the Chris
No,
Brown.
he looks. Oh, I don't even know how to describe how Chris Brown looks right now.
I think he's doing all right, man. I think he's doing all right with it.
I don't think he looks that well. And by well, I mean I don't think he looks all there right now, because I remember when Chris Brown first came out, he was like what, 16?
I don't even
Quite
know.
young. And then we went to see him in concert. We bought his, albums and stuff, but nowadays it's just he looks tired. He looks as if, I don't know, he's aging so much, as if he's older than what he is. So I think it's like it's taking its toll on him and it's wearing him out.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. Honestly, it is a lot of pressure what they're doing. I think some people think that it's not work. Some people don't see that there is a heavy work ethic behind it to be in that spotlight. Like, oh, just talent fell in their lap, and that's a whole nother show too. Like, is talent born or is it the environment? That's a whole nother show. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it does look like he's in his own little realm or whatever. But everybody kind of has their good and bad days. But I know what you're saying as far as maybe aging them a little bit. But the childhood stars, yeah, man. It's that symptom though. But the patterns are there. The patterns are there as far as these people just having that destructive end, man. That money, maybe that money too soon, or maybe all that attention. You ever have it when you ever seen like a little kid and they might cuss or they might do something you think is cute because they're a little kid. But when they get older and they have those same type of attitudes that they had when they were a kid, when you thought it was cute, it's no longer cute when they're older. So turning that on and off, or just dealing with the reality of what people thought was cute when you were younger, and then when you get older, it looks like a flaw in your character. So then, how do you deal with that too? Like, especially if you were a little kid and they thought because you kept on talking a lot, or you was talking like I don't know, childish or whatever, and you get older and you still doing that, and it's kind of like, what are you doing, bro? You such and such age, but you still talking like this, or what? Are you talking crazy? So it's I think it's the transition when they get older and they're no longer the child anymore, and to like have to deal with the world after they've already seen you a certain way. You know how they change? Like, you have like the Miley Cyruses and people like that, and they have a total makeover, right? To break away from the childish image. Do you see that too sometimes?
Yeah.
And that's another thing, trying to break away from the wholesome, all-American childish image. So that transition too might have a big effect on them, because maybe that wasn't them to begin with. But
Rich Hill.
Oh yeah, that's another. But that's just the way it marketed. That's the way that they're marketed when they're young, and then they get to a certain age where they really want to be who they are, who they perceive they are. Then it's kind of like, well, dang, where was the other person we saw all along? So just dealing with those realities. But yeah, man, it's just so yeah. Basically, if your kid came up to you, because I guess we'll just go ahead and round it off before we start going in circles. But yeah, if your kid came up to you and they were like, if they want to be an actor or a singer, rapper, whatever it is, like, how would you go about it, knowing these patterns take place in these kids, and it ends up for the bad? Would you still let them do it, even if they threw a fit and say, this is what I want to be, and they actually show that they have talent in acting and stuff like that? Would you tell them just hold off until you're 18 or something like that, or wait till you're older, or would you just let them go ahead and do it?
And if the pay was good.
If the pay was good too. I mean, even let's say you don't have that much money now, would you do it just because it would uplift your family? So you exploit your kid? Would you exploit your kid? Or, dang, there was another thing I was going to say too. And it's not even coming to me. It's not even flowing to me.
Do you think you could regulate them? Like, do you think that if you do let show business, do you really think you could regulate them after that?
Yeah, for real. And who are those? Some of those kids, where they get emancipated, or they divorce their own people, because it's kind of like, you can't tell me what to do.
Do you think you could tell them exactly? Do you think you could tell them what to do when they're bringing you, the bread and butter? I mean,
it's like you're creating a monster, huh? You creating a monster. You got your own little Frankensteins and stuff like that, because and then you know what? And then everybody telling them that they're good too. When everybody's in your ear, you have a whole bunch of yes men around you and whatever like that, and they're telling you this, that, oh yeah, you're special, and that's repeatedly put into you. That'll make you act a certain way as well. If you can't distinguish, like I said, the real and the fake, and everybody's constantly telling you you're a certain way, like you're special, or even if somebody, it's kind of like if somebody is always saying you're a bad kid or whatever like that, what do you think you're going to tend to lean towards? Being bad. You know what I mean? So that environment plays a role. So environment from your own home plays a role in who you are, how they treat you. But your environment in where you work, it kind of creates a whole nother person. It brings out a whole bunch of other stuff out of you as well. So these childhood stars, that was the topic. So the people that are tuned in, would you do that? Would you let your kids go ahead and be these childhood stars and roll the dice, take these chances to see what may come of it? Because it doesn't. I mean, there are some exceptions, but would you put them in that line of fire to see, to chance it, just to see? You might not have the money you need right now. College is expensive, so this would pay for their college. So instead of you having to come out of pocket, would you just let them and maybe have you set for life or whatever like that? Take that risk. So that's what it is. So, do you have anything else to say? Any final words?
Just don't let your kids do it.
So your opinion is don't let them do it, huh? I feel you. I feel you. Yeah. I mean, I don't have any kids, but I don't think I would let them do it. I have to probably let them wait. And if they still have that kind of talent, then probably when they're older, they'll still be able to do it anyway. But they'll just have a better head on their shoulders, more
But
knowledge
then,
about the world.
but then it goes back to that thing where, okay, let's say your child came to you and was like, you know what, I'm really good at basketball,
Ooh,
and they're offering me, um, a scholarship or something like that. Would you, basically, would you encourage your child to go into something like that then?
um, that's a little different, but I mean, yeah. Well, it really depends on the case for real, because sports is a whole nother thing too. Because that anything to be good or to be great at, it takes a whole lot of time, and
Yeah,
so if you're using up that time to develop in sports or whatever, your school a lot of times
yeah,
it'll be lacking in certain areas. Not all. There's some people who can get straight A's and still be good in sports or whatever like that. But could they have been better in their schooling had
yeah,
they not had to spend so much time? Yeah. Or could they have like actually finished school earlier or been something else just as good? Yeah. So but when you're in an environment when this is championed, like this is what you need to
yeah,
do. This is what is praised, and you're a young
yeah.
person.
Well,
It's a lot
we
different.
we came from different backgrounds, like totally different backgrounds. Like
Yeah.
in my family, you were encouraged to do the academic side
Yeah.
more so than the sports.
But see that maybe that's an American thing and a UK thing too. So maybe that's the difference. I don't know. But that's another topic too. We'll get into that. But the childhood star thing, we'll wrap it up. And basically, that's what it is. So for the people who maybe this is the first time listening, go check out the other video we did. And like I said, we're gonna probably be doing this every day. We usually try to keep it to a 15-minute. We went to 22, but so what, man? It's our show. We do what we want to do. Like what you used to say, Diana. I do what I want. Say, I do what I want. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Thanks for tuning into the show, Childhood Stars. There you have it. Rate, comment, subscribe. Get back at us. Let us know what you feel. And that's it. So signing out. D. Up to you.
Bye.
Bye.